Hello students. Today we are going to learn about the last element of art, value. Value is my favorite element of art. To me, it is the finishing touches to any artwork. I can't wait to show you how to add value to your drawings in today's lesson. Let's begin. Today you will need 2 sheets of paper or cardstock. One for the lesson on value and one for your artwork. A drawing pencil, pencil sharpener, a good eraser, and a ruler. If you would like to have colored pencils and a black marker for today's lesson, you can, but these items are optional. Let's begin our lesson on value. Value is the range from light to dark. There are many drawing techniques we can use to show light and shadow, but here I will draw with you 4 different ways. We are going to show the range of light starting on the left and ending with dark on the right. Take your ruler and outline 3 sides of the ruler to make a long rectangle. I stopped outlining at about 6 inches, but it does not have to be perfect. Finish the rectangle by closing the line and making the rectangle shape. You are going to do this 4 times, as I am doing here. Now we need to make 6 squares inside each rectangle. Draw a line down the middle of each rectangle like so. Then draw 2 lines on the left and 2 lines on the right of that middle line, and space them out to make 6 equal squares. They do not have to be perfect. Separate them as best as you can. Use your ruler for even measurements if you would like. Then number these squares at the top of the page from 1 to 6. 1 will be our lightest squares, and 6 will be our darkest squares. The first technique I'm going to show you is shading. Square 1 we are going to leave blank so it can stay bright white. In the second square, I'm going to begin shading with my pencil. Use very light pressure. In the third square, I'm going to do the same thing but with a little heavier pressure, just not too much. Maybe go over it a second time to see the darker shades come through. In the fourth square, I shade with heavier pressure and go over the square 3 times to make sure there are no blank spaces. Try to make the shading even all the way through. In the 5th square, I try to shade from different angles and heavy pressure. Coloring from different sides will make sure I did not miss any parts of the square and all parts are covered well. The 6th and final square, use your heaviest pressure with your pencil and make the square really dark and bold. Color from every angle. Try to make it solid, showing very little pencil lines. Maybe smudge the square with your finger to have everything blend well. Once you are done with the 6th square, take a step back and look at the range of value just by shading with your drawing pencil. Let's try this technique again with a colored pencil if you have one nearby. Pick any colored pencil you would like and do the exact same thing to the next rectangle. Let's label this third rectangle lines. We are going to use lines to show light to dark. Begin with a few light lines far apart from one another in the first square, and as you work your way through all the squares, your lines will become closer together, pressing with heavier pressure in each square each time you want darker shadows to show. Just make sure you are drawing the lines all in the same direction. Here I am using vertical lines. This last one I've shown in past videos, and this is the one I use most often in my artwork. It is called cross-hatching. The cross-hatch technique is when you cross two lines together going in opposite directions. Here you see I draw diagonal lines in the squares at one angle, and then draw the same amount of lines in the opposite direction. The more lines you use for cross-hatching, the darker the space looks. Here's what we've drawn in this video. And here are some other examples that I've drawn off camera showing value. Stippling is when we show light and dark just by drawing dots and small marks farther apart versus closer together. Pebbles is a fun technique. The smaller the pebbles that are closer together, the darker the image. You can scribble, you can zigzag. Like I said, there are many ways to demonstrate value in your drawings, but if you would like to try the ones that I did here, pause the video and continue when you're ready to begin the artwork. For our artwork today, we are going to create value with geometric shapes. Lower elementary, this might be your first time creating optical illusion art with me. If so, you are about to create a really fun masterpiece. Grab a blank piece of paper or cardstock, a ruler, and a pencil. If you would like to use colored pencils, you can have those with you for this part as well. Once you have all your materials, begin working with me. With your ruler and pencil, begin drawing straight lines that cross one another throughout the page as I am doing here. This will create your geometric shapes. Try not to make them too close together. We want big geometric shapes. When you are finished, draw a dot in the middle of each of your shapes. Then take your ruler and draw a line from the center to each corner of the shape you are in. For example, with one of your triangles, you will create 3 equal smaller triangles, drawing lines from the center to each corner. This creates more geometric planes to shade in later on. You don't need a ruler for this step, but if you plan to draw these inside lines free-handedly, try to make them as straight as possible. Continue this process for each section. Here is a progress photo of my artwork. Pause here until you are ready to continue to the next step. We're going to begin showing value. You can do this step with the colored pencil or continue with a drawing pencil like me. Choose your technique. I'm going to do simple shading, the first technique I showed you in our lesson about value. Take one of your shapes. Here I am beginning with a triangle. With its sections, I am going to shade in different values. I'm going to shade light, medium, and dark. To make the darkest section more solid and opaque, I shaded the darkest area again with a black pencil. Here we have a trapezoid with 4 sections. I am going to leave one section blank and begin coloring in each section from light to dark. Optical illusion art, also known as op art, are still images that look as though they are moving or lifting off of the page. By creating different value throughout your artwork, you can trick your eye into thinking the image you create is more than what it seems. As you are drawing in different values of each section, make sure none of the same values are next to one another. You can continue shading in one shape at a time, but it is more fun lightly numbering each section from 1 through 6. That way, I can look at my chart and know right away which section is needed to be dark, medium, or light. Again, draw the numbers very lightly and make sure the same numbers are not next to one another so each value is different. For example, do not put a number 6 next to a number 6, or else that would create one large dark section. We want variety in the values to create an optical illusion that our artwork is popping off of the page. You may end up changing the numbers around as you begin shading, and that's okay. It's still a good idea to map out where you want to shade throughout your artwork. When you begin shading, erase the number in the area you are working so it does not show through as you draw over that section. If you are shading like me, 1 is blank, 3 is medium, and 6 is solid dark. With everything now mapped out, I colored in all the 6s first, then all the 5s, 4s, leaving the number 1s last, just in case I needed to erase any smudge marks. Blend the sections with your finger to make the areas nice and smooth, but be careful, the pencil marks on your skin might smudge and transfer to other areas on the paper. Sometimes it is good to take a break, step back, and look at the progress of your work. Sometimes the sections you shade in that are next to one another look so similar, you might need to go over some of them again and make some of the triangles darker for more light and dark contrast. I just finished numbers 2 through 6 and noticed my hands were very stained from the smudging with my fingers and drawing with my left hand. To finish up, I washed my hands and began working on the ones. For the number ones, take your eraser and carefully clean up all the triangles with the number 1 in them, making them bright white. Try to stay within that triangle. When you are all done, sign your name and date it in the back. How did yours turn out? Does it look like it's popping off of the page? Optical illusion art is so fun, it tricks your eye into thinking your artwork is creating more forms than what is actually there. Thank you for creating art with me today. Until next time, take care and stay creative.